Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're tackling something we all deal with. You know, like the good, the bad, and the ugly of our own minds.
Yeah, the inner workings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So get this. We've got an excerpt from this book called The Inflow Fit Method.
Oh, interesting.
It's all about self-improvement, mindfulness, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Even touches on meditation a bit.
Cool.
So if you've ever felt like totally swamped by negative thoughts or like you're stuck in a rut and can't break free from old habits, this deep dive's for you.
It's amazing how much our thoughts, really impact us day to day.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
And this book really dives into all of that.
It does. And you know what? It all starts with this quote by Robin Sharma.
Okay.
He says, "The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master." What do you think he means by that?
It's like he hit the nail on the head about the power of our minds. They can help us do amazing things. Learning, creating, solving problems, all that. That's the wonderful servant part.
Right.
But then, when those thoughts become all negative and anxious and we just, dwell on them, that's when the mind takes over, It becomes the terrible master. That's what this book is calling a mind detox.
Yeah.
Basically, being aware of what we're thinking and learning how to manage it. Take control.
Mind detox. Interesting.
Yeah.
But managing our thoughts.
Yeah.
That sounds, a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like herding cats, isn't it?
Right.
Especially when you think about how many thoughts we're actually having.
Oh, so many.
The book says we have something like 70,000 thoughts per day.
Yeah.
And get this, over 70% are negative.
Wow.
How is anyone supposed to wrangle all that?
It does sound kind of overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
But recognizing it. The Inflow Fit method says that's the first step. And it argues a lot of those negative thoughts, they come from our past experiences. It even calls the brain an anticipation machine.
An anticipation machine?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
It means our brains, right? They're always trying to predict what's going to happen in the future based on what's happened before, It's our brains have this giant dot filing cabinet of every experience we've ever had, and they use that info to guess what's coming next, which can be helpful for survival,
Right, like avoiding danger, all that.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this anticipation machine thing works, but how does that lead to so many negative thoughts? It doesn't seem like a great way to be happy if our brains are constantly dwelling on the bad stuff.
You're right. The downside is our brains can kind of get stuck in a rut. They keep pulling out those old negative files, even if the situation is totally different. It's like your brain keeps hitting that replay button on an old argument, even though you've totally moved on,
So it's like our past experiences are holding us back, even if we don't realize it.
Yeah.
That's kind of unsettling.
It can be.
What can we do about it? Like this mind detox thing, how does it actually work?
Right.
Does the book give us any tools to break free from those negative thought patterns?
It does. And a major one is meditation.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people think meditation is about stopping all thoughts completely.
Yeah.
But the Inflow Fit method, it says that's practically impossible. Our brains are wired to think.
I've tried that, silent meditation thing, and my brain just gets louder when I try to force it to be quiet.
Right.
It's weird.
It's more about becoming aware of those thoughts, just watching them float by without getting all caught up in them. This is what creates space between you and that constant mental chatter.
So instead of getting swept away by every single thought, we're learning to observe them.
Exactly.
That sounds almost peaceful.
It can be. And with practice, it can help you feel more in control. You have a choice in how you react to your thoughts instead of just letting them, run the show.
This is fascinating.
Right.
But I have so many questions. I'm especially curious about this meditation with a smile thing the book mentions.
Oh, yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
How does that fit into this whole mind detox idea? We'll dive into that right after this. All right, so we talked about mind detox and that whole brain as an anticipation machine thing.
Yeah.
But then the book throws in this curveball, meditation with a smile. Okay, I've heard of meditation, obviously.
Right.
But smiling while I'm doing it, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, but also a little skeptical. Is this some new age trick or something?
It might sound a little out there, but there's actually some science behind it.
Really?
Yeah, the book explains that smiling, even if you don't really feel like it at first, can actually like change your brain, like physically.
Whoa.
It triggers the release of those, feel-good hormones, endorphins.
Hold on. So you're saying just by like physically smiling,
Yeah,
I can actually start to feel happier.
exactly.
I mean, I know there's that saying, fake it till you make it,
Right.
but can it really be that simple?
It can be surprisingly effective. Think about it. When you genuinely smile, you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Where your brain. It doesn't necessarily know the difference between a real smile and like a fake one.
Oh.
So even if you're feeling down, the act of smiling sends those signals to your brain like, hey, things are okay.
So it can like actually shift your mood?
It can.
Wow. Okay. So by smiling during meditation,
Yeah,
we're basically giving our brains a dose of positivity,
exactly.
kind of like sneaking veggies into a smoothie.
Yeah.
You don't really notice them, but they're doing you good.
That's a great analogy. And the book suggests this can be especially helpful when those negative thoughts creep in during meditation.
Right.
Instead of getting like totally sucked in,
Yeah.
you have this little boost of happy hormones to help you stay like centered and focused.
It's like we're hacking our own brain chemistry
Kinda.
to create a more positive mental state. I
Yeah.
love it. The book even talks about a 30-second smile experiment.
Oh, yeah.
What's that all about? Have you ever tried that?
I have. It's surprisingly powerful. I encourage all of you listening to try it with us right now.
Okay.
Just hold a smile for 30 seconds.
All right.
Even if it feels a little forced at first, and just see what happens.
Okay.
Notice if anything shifts, your mood or your energy.
I'm smiling as we speak. I have to admit, I'm feeling a little bit more energized already.
Yeah.
It's crazy how something so simple can have such a noticeable effect.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really shows the power of the mind-body connection, doesn't
For
it?
sure.
You know what else is cool? This whole smiling meditation thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a totally new idea. The book connects it back to things like the serene smile of Buddha
Uh-huh.
and even the Mona Lisa.
It's true. Throughout history, smiles have been connected with, like, peace and wisdom and inner joy.
It makes you wonder, like,
Yeah.
maybe those guys were onto something all those years ago.
Maybe they were.
Maybe Mona Lisa was practicing the InfloFit method centuries before it was even a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but all jokes aside, this whole idea of mind detox,
Yeah.
becoming more aware of our thoughts, intentionally shifting them with things like meditation, and even using a smile to boost those good vibes.
Right.
It's pretty inspiring, right?
Certainly.
It's like we're taking back control of our own minds.
You are. You are.
But this book isn't just about meditation, is it?
No, not just.
Does it offer any other like practical tips for dealing with those negative thoughts? Because we all have them. It
Yeah.
feels like we're just like scratching the surface here. This mind detox is a pretty big idea. And I'm curious, are there like other techniques besides meditation?
Oh, for sure.
Does the book go into any other strategies for like actually managing those negative thoughts?
It does, yeah. It emphasizes that meditation is like a great starting point. But
Okay.
there are other tools we can use, throughout the day.
Right.
One it highlights is called thought reframing.
Thought reframing. Okay, I'm listening. What's that?
Basically, it's about changing how we look at a situation. So
Right.
instead of getting caught up in like that negative thought spiral,
Uh-huh.
we try to find a more positive or at least neutral perspective.
So instead of like focusing on the negative,
yeah,
we're trying to find a different angle.
exactly.
Okay.
So let's say you're stuck in traffic
I like the worst.
and you start feeling all stressed and frustrated.
Yeah. Happens.
That typical negative thought might be like, this is awful, I'm going to be late and everyone's going to be so mad at me.
I've definitely been there.
Thought reframing would be taking a step back and challenging that thought.
Okay, so how would you do that?
You could reframe it by thinking, okay, I can't control the traffic, but I can control how I react.
Yeah.
Like, I'll use this time to listen to a podcast
Oh, good idea.
or call a friend, or even just like, this is a chance to practice some patience.
So it's about shifting our focus from what we can't control
Right.
to what we can control.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty powerful idea.
It is.
Mhm.
And the InfloFit method argues that the more we practice this, the easier it becomes.
Hmm.
Like, it's like building a mental muscle.
You know, it's interesting how this all connects back to that brain as an anticipation machine idea.
Right.
Like we can use thought reframing to almost like reprogram those old files in our brain
Yeah,
to create new, more positive responses to stuff that used to just trigger all that negativity.
totally. It's like updating the software of our minds.
I love that. So to wrap up today's deep dive, it's all about taking control of our minds. We've explored this idea of mind detox, how our brains, can kind of get stuck in the past.
Yeah.
And the power of meditation with a smile, of course.
Always with a smile.
We've also learned some cool practical techniques like this thought reframing thing to help us manage all those negative thoughts that, pop up.
Yeah, we all have them.
It's been a pretty awesome journey, don't you think?
It has. It really shows that we have so much more power over our thoughts than we realize.
I totally agree. So for all you deep divers out there, here's something to think about. What are some of those negative thought patterns that you notice popping up for you?
Good question.
And how could you use techniques like thought reframing or, meditation with a smile to shift those patterns? It's a journey, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's one worth taking. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those smiles coming.